Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. I am checking in for week 6 of this little cut update series. So 6 weeks down, entering week 7 tomorrow, and so far still feeling pretty good. So as you guys know, last week I did not adjust calories. I think for the past 2 weeks it's been maybe even 3. So I have still been at like 18-20 all week this week, but we are obviously not home. We have been staying at my parents' house because we were getting our floors done and we had to be out of the house. So we were expecting to only be out for, I guess, like a few days or a week tops. It's been 8 days now, and we're not going back until Wednesday afternoon of this week, so we have a few more days here. But overall it's been a pretty low-key week. I think with anything or anytime you're not home or you're traveling or just not in your own bed, I feel like stress is going to come up a little bit, like regardless of if you're on vacation or at your parents' house or whatever. You're just not in your normal element, so that can be a little bit stressful. Obviously we're having a great time and it's not like we're upset or anything like that. It's just a form of stress, right? So I think a lot of people sometimes don't rate their stress accurately because they feel like they really have to be upset or mad or just really distressed to have stress, when that's not the case. There's different kinds of stress, right? So there's emotional, physical, mental stress, and just being out of your element can be a stressor on your body, on top of being in a caloric deficit, which is a stressor on your body, on top of not sleeping well, which can be a stressor physically on your body. So there are different kinds of stress, and you have to factor that in when you are chasing fat loss goals. So stress has been higher this week. There were definitely more bad sleep days than good, I would say, and I'm still getting the same amount. We're still going to bed early and trying to prioritize sleep. But the first couple of nights here, Kai was waking up, he wasn't having the sleep, and one night he woke up with a stomach ache. He's been waking up early, just being away from home, right? So that can also impact fat loss, is when your sleep is messed up. So those biofeedback factors have been impacted this week, and because of that the scale didn't really budge. So I actually had my lowest weigh-in this morning all week since I've been here, and it was 130.2. So kind of maintaining basically from where I've been last week, and even went up as high as 131.5 for a few days this week, just because, again, stress, sleep, all of these things are playing a role. But along with that, I would say my overall adherence to my nutrition has been really high this week. I've tracked every single day. I think I had 2 untracked meals, so one last Sunday and then one last night. Josh and I went out to dinner, and ironically this morning was my lowest weight, even though last night I 100% went over what my calories should have been. And I think the reason being is just because stress finally dropped. So that was our first date out alone at a real restaurant since June, and then before that obviously we hadn't been out since like January, so second date this year. And it was really, really nice to just be out and no baby and just relaxing and eating, and it was very stress relieving and enjoyable. We got a couple of appetizers, these fried zucchini and eggplant chips with this delicious yogurt dip. We got these huge beef, pork, and veal, I think, meatballs. And then for dinner, I got a salmon dish that was like over an orzo summer salad, and Josh got a big veal dish, and we split a piece of cake for dessert. So definitely not tracking that, and definitely was over for the day, but because I was so relaxed and just enjoyed myself fully, I dropped in weight this morning. I think that overall though, I still, like, hunger levels kind of have dropped this week. I'm not as hungry. I feel good on this set of macros, and it's been a few weeks since I adjusted, so I do think it is time regardless for an adjustment even though stress and sleep are likely impacting things a little bit, but I'm not gonna make it a huge one, just very small adjustment. And lately I have been wanting more protein, so I actually upped my protein a little bit since I do have a little bit of wiggle room there. The current recommendation for muscle growth or maintenance is between 0.8 and 1.3 grams per pound of your body weight. So I was at a little bit under 1 gram per pound, and then so I just bumped it up 10 grams this week. Last week, the set of macros I was at was 125 protein, 200 carbs, 58 fat. This week, I'm at changing them to 135 protein, 10 more protein, 170 carbs, slashed carbs the most, and then 55 fat, so 3 grams of fat down, just because, like I said in past videos, I do prefer those fats lately. So we'll see if this ends up being the last adjustment or not. That's still 1755 calories, so not poverty macros yet. And like I said, I'm feeling good, progressing in the gym. Speaking of workouts, so this week obviously has looked a little bit different. We don't have our nice garage gym that we can just waltz out to every single day here. So we did bring the 30-pound dumbbells that are adjustable. And my brother actually has a really nice basement gym, so we went there a couple of days this week. I actually did a lot of driveway workouts this week, so I just took my base programming and adjusted it to be dumbbells only and just did it in the driveway. We've been on a few hikes this week, so staying really active, still getting my walks in, still hitting actually more steps per day this week than I was previous weeks, just because we're doing more things with the family. So training has shifted a little bit this week, but overall has remained pretty consistent, still getting in the same amount of days. But I would say overall my family eats pretty similar to how we eat, as in like they always have some kind of chicken or protein prepped. They're eating lots of fruits and veggies. So, staying on track here has not been that much of a struggle, just because 1, we have a kitchen, 2, we've meal prepped, and like last night they ordered pizza, we came back from dinner. I just didn't feel the need to have that stuff just because it's here. So while yes, they do have some foods like Oreos and like things like that in the pantry that we don't really keep in our house all the time, it's not something I'm like drawn to, because I know that 1, I could have it if I really wanted to. That's the beauty of flexible dieting, and 2, I'm really satisfied with the meals that I do have. There are things that I enjoy and that keep me full, and I feel really good. So I come back to the aspect of what makes me feel the best when I'm in a situation where there are things that like I wouldn't normally have, if that makes sense. So I would say my biggest lesson here for you guys this week is to, 1, if you're away or traveling or whatever the case may be, focus on the things that you can still do. Go for your daily walks, drink your water, have some snacks that you usually have that make you feel really good. Bring your protein and any kind of supplements with you to, keep your routine as much as possible. And then be okay with not having your usual things all the time too. So I would say the past 5 weeks prior to this week, I kind of stuck to my basics overall. We didn't go out to dinner. I really stuck to the meals that I usually have. And that changed a little bit with each week. But this week, like, there were times where my dad cooked dinner, or like he made shrimp and we had rice bowls and stuff like that. And just, not that I wouldn't normally make that, I just haven't had it during this cut so far. And I just made it work. That's one of the reasons why we do love flexible dieting so much, is you can really make anything work, and it just gives you a more realistic and enjoyable approach to fat loss compared to something like a meal plan or a strict fad diet, or even just being really strict with your macros. It's okay if things aren't 100% perfect 24/7. Do the best you can, focus on what you can control, and you ultimately will still progress. So was this week the most transformative week of the cut? Maybe, probably not. I would say overall consistency has been still way above 80%, if not 90%. So I'm still doing the things I need to do, still enjoying some meals, and ultimately just having as best of a week as I can while away from home. This week ahead will kind of be similar. will obviously be transitioning back home halfway through the week, so I'll have to do like my grocery shop and all of that on Wednesday. So I think that concludes the video here. I will put my little progress photos here from last week to this week. Obviously I'm not home in my typical spot, so lighting, all that might be a little bit different, but still took them to hold myself accountable. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and learned something, and I will see you next week for the end of week 7. Thank you for watching. If you can subscribe to our channel, that would mean so much, and I'll see you then. Bye!